Okay, so I have a starter. I'm brand new at this. I want to feed it and get started. So what do? Kitchen scale, I have it, so I'm going to turn it on, the power. Mine says, you can read it, tare, T-A-R-E, or it may say 0. So that's what I want to press to zero it out. Over here's the units. I want to press it until I have my weight on grams. So I'm going to have grams, and then I'm going to zero it out. Put your container, whatever you're going to put your sourdough starter in, and get it going. Put your container on the kitchen scale. Then you're going to press your tare or your 0 button. So I have that zeroed out. Now I'm going to take my starter and put in there whatever I want to use. If you have a dried starter, then put that in your jar. I have a liquid starter. Well, I guess it's liquid. I have a liquid starter. So this is what I'm using. So I put that in my jar and get the weight in grams. Uh-oh. I don't want that to take off my weight. Let me get that off of my scale. So because you're gonna double or triple, it's just easier to get it to an even number. So I've got mine to 20 grams. So once I put my jar on there, zeroed it out, put in 20 grams of starter. So now I'm gonna zero it out again. I'm gonna press this tare button again. And it brings me back to 0. So once I do that, I have 20 grams. So now I'm gonna add 40 grams of water. This is filtered water. If you have a high chlorinated water, it can kill your starter. So it's best to use a filtered water. So I'm adding 40 grams of water. Or way too much water. I don't know why I did that. Okay, so I've got 40 grams of water. I'm just going to give it a stir to stir up that starter. Now, I'm going to zero it out again before I add my flour. I like to use this, so I'm going to get everything that I'm using on here, then I'm going to zero it out again. So I had 20 grams of starter. That means I'm going to add 40 grams of water and 40 grams of flour. So now, 40 grams of flour. I've got it zeroed out. $40 grams of flour. So now I just give that a stir, make sure all my flour and all my water is dissolved in with the starter. Okay. Then I like to mark it with a marker on my jar where it's at, and that just gives me an idea for when it rises. See, there's an old mark. It just gives me an idea for when it rises how much it has risen. So I'll just put a little mark right here along the side in a couple places so I can see and I can watch it as it rises. I am going to scrape down all that from the side. So that's it. With a kitchen scale, you're just going to measure your starter. Then you will double the amount of water and flour to the weight of the starter that you added in. So mine again was 20 grams of starter. I put 40 grams of water, then I put 40 grams of flour. stirred it. Now I will just set my lid on it, or a jar, or a bowl, or a jar cover, whatever I have, and set it to the side. I hope that helps.